All eyes are on Kingston, Jamaica, as member states from across the world meet to discuss rules for deep-sea mining. But opposition is growing to the plans as indigenous groups that depend on the seas and oceans to survive continue to increase their numbers. Dwayne Anderson explains.
These are the Maroons of Jamaica and the Maui indigenous peoples of Hawaii. Today they are sharing gifts with each other. In a few days, they will share the same opinion on a global platform. They have formed a coalition of indigenous peoples to strengthen the opposition to deep-sea mining. Deep-sea mining is the process of extracting critical minerals such as copper and cobalt from the ocean floor. From all indications, this could spell trouble for the world, especially small island developing states and their peoples.
Oftentimes they tell you the story that you're going to make a lot of money and we're just picking up these rocks from the bottom of the ocean that have minerals in them. But the reality is those are the foundation of all of life. And so these rocks at the bottom of the sea are super important for all the marine life and everything that lives off of it. And half of our oxygen comes from these healthy ecosystems in the ocean. So I think once we learn the full story, many of us understand it doesn't make any sense to do that.
Which is why the Maui and the Maroons are going to join stakeholders in speaking out at the International Seabed Authority ISA Assembly to be held at its downtown headquarters in Kingston. The views of indigenous peoples are usually respected on environmental matters such as these, since their way of life, such as fishing, is potentially at risk.
There's an immense amount of tension currently at the International Seabed Authority, and that's why it's such an important meeting this year. And that's why we think it's very important to bring in not only international indigenous voices, but also local indigenous voices to the table.
It's about saving humanity. It is about saving the environment, saving planet Earth from persons whose mindset is just on enriching themselves, no matter whatever the cost is.
But time is running out. 2025 was the last timeline to draft regulations to guide the states or companies that would do the mining. That date was missed.
On the multilateral space, the International Seabed Authority is currently stalling. There are more and more nations calling for a moratorium. France has called for a ban. Others call for a precautionary pause, and some want to go mine. Then there's also different interests there, no? So land-based mining nations that have strong land-based minerals, right? They're not interested in deep-sea mining, so they want to block it, right? So there are all of these different interests going on.
But 2026 is proving another tough year for those opposed to this commercial enterprise, because the USA is pro-deep-sea mining. President Donald Trump is keen to gain advantage over Russia, China, and other geopolitical rivals.
The Trump administration, now they are not participating anyway, right? They don't like multilateralism because they have to talk to too many people and get agreement with too many people, so they would rather go ahead and do it themselves. So, as they have never signed the United Nations Conventions of the Law of the Sea, they can do more or less whatever they want to do.